You thought it meant something? The jokes, the late-night talks, the easy closeness. Then nothing. No explanation. Just silence. So you ask yourself, why didn't they stay? Was I not enough? Are these voices playing inside my head? Or are they echoes of something real? You call it ghosting, but deep down you feel it. This isn't just abandonment. It's an unraveling of story, meaning, belonging. So why does ghosting hurt so profoundly? And what if the answer lies not in closing the gap, but in discovering something deeper about yourself? Ghosting is more than texting silence. It's an absence pregnant with questions. Modern psychologists name it ambiguous loss. No death, no ending, just unresolved presence. Your brain wired for narrative scrambles. What went wrong? Did I cause this? But this isn't new. Centuries ago, seekers felt this ache too, when bonds evaporated, not through rupture, but through retreat. These silent disappearances left souls stranded, searching not just for the person, but for the meaning lost between the lines. And if you've ever reopened a message thread, replayed a goodbye, or waited for a call that never comes, you've felt that emptiness, not brokenness, but dislocation. A story paused mid-sentence. In 13th century Persia, Rumi felt a deeper dislocation, the sudden disappearance of Shams, his spiritual mirror. He wrote furious, tender, heart-shattering verse. The wound is where the light enters you. He didn't ask, why me? He asked, what now? Socrates faced another quiet vanishing. The disloyalty of his city when he was condemned, his friends scattered, his truths alone. Abandonment came not with slander, but with silence. Both thinkers learned. The break in connection could break our story, but it could also guide us into something more forged by absence. Ghosting wounds, not the heart alone, but the mind. Neuroscience shows abrupt social rejection lights up the same neural networks as physical pain. Each unanswered text, each seen but not tread, echoes in your brain. Stillness after connection becomes thumping absence. That pain is real and relentless, because there's no resolution, no story arc. We ask, why did they leave? Did I say the wrong thing? Is it me? But every question pulls us deeper into silence's gravity. Rumi saw something striking. Our suffering begins not when bonds end, but when we lose ourselves trying to fix a story that no longer fits. So how can absence become an ally of insight? We look to the ancients. Socrates didn't mourn silence with blame. He pursued a tougher question. What does their absence teach me? In the quiet of his final days, he still guided souls. He pointed inward. Because abandonment leaves a mirror. What did I believe about me and about others? Rumi, on the other hand, welcomed the ache as initiation. He didn't run from loss. He spun his grief into a whirling dance. He wrote of loss as a spiritual invitation. Each wound a doorway for divine light. They both faced disappearance but chose growth instead of collapse. Ask yourself, what door has their leaving unlocked? What part of you they freed? Yet Rumi, the great mystic poet, saw in heartbreak not a punishment, but a passage. For him, pain was not an interruption of love, but one of its purest forms. The wound, he wrote, is the place where the light enters you. This wasn't a metaphor, it was a map. Rumi's poetry was born in the aftermath of his greatest loss. The disappearance of his beloved companion Shams of Tabriz. Their connection was a spiritual fire, intense and transforming, and when Shams vanished, Rumi collapsed. His grief was cataclysmic. He wandered, he wept, he went mad with longing. But instead of closing the wound, he entered it, he stayed, he listened. And through that wound, a river of poetry flowed. What Rumi discovered was this: love that disappears is still love, but it transforms. It shifts from form to essence, from possession to presence. Ghosting devastates because we think love has ended. But in Rumi's eyes, love only ends when we refuse to grow with it. Even in absence, there is presence. Even in silence, there is speech. He writes, "Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form. Again, try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you." This is not passive resignation, it's radical surrender. Rumi asks us to stay open even when we are broken, to let the unanswered question deepen us, not to close the door on love, but to let its absence become a teacher. Modern trauma therapy echoes this. Somatic psychology tells us that healing is not found in intellectual understanding alone. It is found in how the body releases the tension it holds from unresolved experiences. The key is to re-enter the story on your terms, to feel, to breathe, to move with the loss rather than freeze inside it. 1 practice. Write them the letter you never got to send. Speak the goodbye they never gave you. It's not to reopen wounds, but to give them an ending. When you write the final sentence, the story stops haunting you. Not because it was perfect, but because it was yours. And then, walk again in the spaces where you once shared love. But walk as the person who survived. Let your presence fill the absence they left. You're not waiting anymore. You are becoming. Socrates, too, taught that clarity doesn't come from knowing what others feel, but from knowing what you truly are. He asked, not why did they leave, but what does this reveal about my attachments, my assumptions, myself? For Socrates, philosophy was a torch we held inside our confusion, not a shield against pain, but a light to walk through it. Like Rumi, he knew that silence can be sacred, that not every question has an answer, but every question has a direction. And sometimes, being ghosted awakens the deepest one. What is it I truly seek from love? And what in me believes I cannot live without it? The ache of unfinished love is real, but it is not the end. As Rumi's poetry teaches us, longing is not a weakness. It is the birthplace of transformation. The wound may never explain itself, but it can become the well you drink from, the source of poems of strength, of your own voice rising through the silence. So why does ghosting hurt so deeply? Because we lose more than someone, we lose narrative. We spiral, searching for meaning that belongs not to them, but to us. But when we ask better questions like the ancients, we uncover growth, insight, and presence. Are you not enough becomes, who will I be in their silence? Why didn't they stay? Becomes, what truths do I carry now? In their absence, we reclaim ourselves. You are more than what they left behind. Your present whispers with possibility, not void. Let the ache make you wise. Let the silence sharpen your soul. Because your story isn't pause, it's evolving. Watch another Philowhisp video where ancient hearts meet modern questions. And discover the next doorway your sorrow reveals.